안녕하세요. 유튜브 에듀팟을 진행하는 장연화 기자입니다. 오는 7월 11일 온라인 칼리지페어를 앞두고 키노트 스피커로 출연하는 클레어몬트 매케나 칼리지의 입학사정관을 초대했습니다. 미국 최고 리버럴아츠 칼리지죠. 이 학교의 입학 전형이 어떻게 되는지 직접 들어보겠습니다.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Sandoval-Dance, and I am the Associate Vice President for Admission and Financial Aid at Claremont McKenna College in Claremont, California. So Claremont is a suburb of Los Angeles. We're about 35 miles east of downtown Los Angeles. This August, I will have been a part of the admission team at Claremont McKenna College for 15 years. Prior to coming to Claremont McKenna, I worked at my alma mater, the University of Southern California, in a variety of different capacities, including the admission office. So I was there for about 4 years. So I am looking at, close to 20 years here in the admission profession. And I am a native of Southern California, and I'm excited to answer questions and share whatever I can impart in terms of how we're going to evaluate applicants in the coming season.
Can you tell me what will be the new things who tried looking for to applying McKenna?
Yes. Well, this is certainly the high school juniors and rising seniors, I should say, have found themselves in some ways in the most uncertain of circumstances during the most critical time, right? The spring of their junior year when they're supposed to be wrapping up and looking forward to the college admission process and to have all this disruption. So the one thing that I have to say is, just starting from the very beginning, when we begin reviewing applications in the fall and throughout the winter, we're going to be comprehensively cognizant, aware of the fact that all of our applicants will have experienced disruptions and at different levels. And so we're going to start with that lens. This is not completely uncharted territory. While the pandemic is, and its reach being global is uncharted territory for our applicant pool, every year there are natural disasters or community-wide events or sometimes acts of terrorism here or abroad where we know that a certain population or certain aspects of our applicant pool have been impacted by this. So we are used to being able to be flexible, adaptive, and understanding that we have to take a step back and properly contextualize an applicant. So for rising seniors, we understand that their junior year, for the vast majority of them, have been online. If it wasn't online, it was not ideal. They were taken out of their normal learning environment. Some of them didn't have control over their grading. So some schools decided to go pass, no pass, or, just depending on the quality of the course, like if it was in a lab, they probably weren't able to complete out that area of their coursework. We know that all their extracurricular, co-curricular opportunities were stalled. Even if they were able to persist with some of them, they were not in the same format. Some of them many of them have not been able to work if that's what they were doing. So we understand that this period of shelter in place, isolation has taken a toll in every area, whether it be the academic, financial, the just emotional support that we normally get from our peers and being part of a greater community. So we're going to be dialed into understanding that part. Many schools, including Claremont McKenna, are going to be test optional for this group. And I want to emphasize for the young people out there who are going to be applying, please take this seriously. Don't think, well, I should still try to take the test. If you want to take the test and you're able to sit for it and you feel like you're a great test taker and that's how you want to spend that portion of your time, that's fine. But we really want to emphasize that we want applicants knowing how much is going on right now and how much uncertainty we continue to live with each day. We want you to focus on yourself, your commitments, you being able to manage everything else going on in your life without having to worry about a test. So try not to worry about whether or not that's going to have a negative impact. We're going to evaluate applicants based off what we have. And the other thing is the CMC accepts the common application, which many schools do. We also accept the coalition, and we may have some students that are applying for the QuestBridge program. Know that all these applicants will be asking questions about the pandemic, both to your counselors and to the student. So if there's anything you feel is worth mentioning, you do not have to. If you feel like there's nothing that you think you need to enlighten us or share, but there will be ample opportunity for both your high school counselor and you to share anything that you feel is relevant to understanding your application.
Even though there's no question about the pandemics in the application.
There will be, yes. There'll be a specific, so some applicants may choose to write their personal statement or essay about the pandemic, and we certainly understand that may be, but others may not. Others may want to keep their essay topic to what they wanting to talk about something else. I understand many of us may want to talk and think about other things. So we encourage them to do that and use the pandemic section to flesh out anything else that they feel is relevant there.
I see. So I can understand that your application will have added a new question about pandemic, so students can explain what happened or how they spend their time during pandemics.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
Okay. How are you going to select the students?
Sure. Well, fortunately, every single student has gotten in or has been seen beyond one semester, right? So this is one semester, but they actually have 3.5 years. For most students, we also have their fall or first quarter grades, or at least we see what they're taking. So we have a lot more at our disposal than one semester. If they were getting, strong grades in the fall and they get all passes, they also can get letters of recommendation from those teachers. If applicants want, while not necessary, they can also submit, let's say they're really proud of a paper they did, and they're like, you know what, I want you to understand the level of work I put in, given that I'm not getting a grade. They can submit that as supplemental to their application. So we're gonna rely on all the trajectory, all their progress up to that point. And then of course, we'll get to see them pick up in the fall. And, I understand maybe some schools might be pass, no pass in the fall, and we'll cross that path when we get to it. For students who maybe did not have the best start to junior year, or maybe not even the best start to their high school academic start, and let's say they were just picking up their stride and now they've got a bunch of passes, those students I'd recommend, make sure we do require the fall grades, but it would be a good idea for students in this situation to make sure that all institutions you're applying to get your fall grades. And, when some application deadlines are much earlier, so you might want to think about, do they have different rounds of admission that I can apply to? That way you get to show a full semester. And in all honesty, the most current information is the most relevant, right? The way that they are performing right now will be what we'll look at more intensely.
What makes prospective students a good candidate this year during this pandemic?
Well, I would say we haven't read an application yet, so I'm going to be doing some forecasting here. I would say there's two things that seniors have in some ways at an advantage. One is that everything for almost everybody has been done virtually up to this point, right? Whether it's college information sessions, any kind of panels about colleges. So everybody's on an equal playing field. It's not like, okay, my friend or cousin got to visit 20 schools, I only got to visit 2. We're all on equal playing field and you're all able to get the same kind of information. So most colleges are having online information sessions, or they might have a recorded one that you can go in. There's all kinds of virtual college fairs out there. So just stay dialed in to keeping your college search and process, stay dialed into that. The reason I say that is that as you go through, I hope that students are really getting a good sense of what's most important to them in a college. So some students want to be near home, some students want a big school, some students making sure that they have opportunities for research are important. There'd be a variety of different things for them. So as they're going through the process, in some ways, because they have potentially more time on their hands, I know that's not the case with everybody, but you're able to scour information virtually if you want, 16 hours a day. Not saying you should do that, but you're able to get the information because it's all out there publicly for everybody. So I would say we will in some ways expect them to have done, while they may not have been able to visit campus, but to be a bit more informed. Reach out to us if they have any questions. And the other thing I would say for us, again, put together a thoughtful application. So when you think about the essay, be true to authentic to you, who you are, what's most important to you, pick the question that most aligns with you, not what your parents or somebody else might think might be better for you. Go with what you want to say. think about the teachers who are going to speak to you to the best, not the teachers that you think are in the most important classes, but the teachers who know you best. And don't feel bad about anything. This is a process. You're going through high school. There's been a lot of disruptions with the pandemic. Just put down what you've done, share anything you think is relevant. And for Claremont McKenna, we do offer interviews. And because of the virtual environment, we're actually able to offer more interviews than we've ever been able to. So know that students can sign up for those virtually throughout the summer and throughout the fall. And I would recommend that because that gives a student, no matter how nervous you are, even if you're nervous, remember it's virtual, and you're talking to someone one-on-one like me. So we're talking, you're telling me more about your interests, about things that have challenged you. And I think the ability to be able to have that conversation can be so much more powerful than us trying to cull that out of an application.
Who would be the best candidate for from prospective freshmen and transfer student next year?
Who will be the best students?
Who will be the best candidate?
The best candidates for first year and transfers?
First year and transfer.
Yes. So the processes are a bit nuanced from each other. So I would say for first year, we'll continue to look for students who have done well academically and engage themselves personally in their interests, and that's no different from any other year. I think that, and this is also no different than any other year, we will be eager to see why it is that they're applying to Claremont McKenna. So we actually ask that question on the application. So students really thinking about it in two ways. One, how is CMC going to help me grow and evolve? And also, how am I going to help CMC also grow and evolve? So really seeing that as a dynamic interplay. For transfers, transfers are a bit different because they've already been in a college environment and they fall in usually one of two categories. They are at a community college, they chose a 2-year path for their own reasons, and now they're looking at the 4-year trajectory. So for those students, they've really been thinking about what that 4-year college is going to look like. And so we want to understand why Claremont McKenna stood out to them among all the schools that they could apply to. For students at a 4-year school, really what we want to understand is, why are you transferring? Because you're already at a school that can give you a degree. And because transferring is not a simple process, it needs to be thoughtful. And a student needs to be very committed to their growth at the new institution. We are going to look, and we ask in the personal statement, why are you transferring? And that, how a student is able to articulate what they've liked about their current institution, but most importantly, what it is about CMC they think is going to be improved or will enhance their experience, will be what we will be looking for. And honestly, I think for both sets of students, first year and transfer, we understand that the pandemic has so profoundly changed many of us, our view on who we are, our view on the world, our view on what we may want to do, who we want to serve. And so I think I anticipate we may see different kind of applicants in our pool that may not otherwise have been in our pool, because there's just been some more time for soul searching than students have, I think, typically had. It's a lot of pressure on high school seniors and high school students, especially when they're thinking about college. So my hope is that, with this time, people will be able to be a lot more thoughtful and reflective, and don't worry about not having the 20 activities because things were stopped and you couldn't do that. We understand. Can
you tell me then why student needs to go to CMC? Tell us about, the best thing about CMC.
Well, one of my favorite things about CMC is it's all institutions, all colleges and universities are different. And as you get to know them better, you understand what those differences are and why they're so special and unique. For CMC, I think that the uniqueness is more apparent, perhaps, more palpable than sometimes when you're just initially looking at an institution. CMC was established to develop leaders, to look for young people who wanted a broad-based education, a liberal arts education that had depth and breadth, and to go into leadership in business, government, and the professions. So to bring in students that have already said, and identified themselves as wanting to be a leader. Now, we understand where they may be at in their life with that in terms of their experience can be varied, but whatever role they're seeing themselves play in life, they want to be a part of the conversation. They want to be a part of the solution. They want to be a part of studying, digging deep, and understanding the roots of challenges and the historical frame. And, you know, whether that be in government, whether that be in education, whether it be in science, they see themselves as really having that kind of just thirst for that. So, you know, you're going to be surrounded by a community that's going to support that growth and development. It's going to push you in areas, but it's going to be incredibly supportive. It's a small community of about a little over 1,300 students. Everyone, you won't know everyone necessarily, but you will know quite a few people, and you will have the opportunity, I think, to get involved in a variety of different things and learn in a community. You know, it's broadly diverse in terms of students' political ideologies, where they come from geographically, where they come from around the globe, what kind of schools they went to, their experiences, their religious faith, how they see the world. So I think you'll be in an environment where students are eager to share those differences. So yeah, it's a liberal arts college at its core, a great faculty, great students. You're going to be learning in I like to say, intellectually incubated in a very inspiring environment. And you're also going to have access to quite a few not only co-curricular experiences on campus, but throughout your summers, even for many of our students who are not able to actually go physically and do a lot of the work. A lot of them they've translated that into virtual opportunities. So a lot of pre-professional networking, making sure that when you leave CMC, you're ready for whatever that next step is.
So what do you want to say to Korean community, especially Korean parents and students who are looking for, you know, next fall to apply in college?
Is this specific to CMC or just the college search more broadly?
For CMC.
For CMC?
Yes.
Yes, well, you know, we are here for you. We're not physically on our campus just yet. You can call our office, somebody will answer the phone, you can email us, you can participate, and this is for parents too, in some of our virtual programs. Just stay tuned to our website. If your son or daughter is on our mailing list or list, they will also get information about events. So don't be shy about asking questions if you don't know where to find something. And, you know, we also have some online tours and things like that. So stay engaged with that process. Try not to worry. We have a lot to worry about right now with all the uncertainty. We get that. We have more than enough. So just try not to worry about the negative impact that you perceive this to have on you or your child. That college admission offices are going to be deeply understanding of this. And we want to be a part of your process. It's one of my favorite things about this job is that I get to be a part of working with families and helping them answer questions to figure out at such an important juncture of their life, whether or not Claremont McKenna is the right choice. They're going to end up at a great school no matter what, and that we're a part of their journey is such a privilege.
Okay. One last question. Because of COVID, a lot of students are suffering economically. Is your school willing to expand the financial aid package for incoming students or freshman students?
Yes. So CMC is actually need blind in our admission process, which means when we are evaluating applicants, we do not factor in a family's ability to pay. We're not looking at that. We admit students based off their merit. And then students do have to apply for need-based financial aid. So they have to complete the free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA, and a form called the College Scholarship Service Form. It's known as a CSS profile available on the College Board site. So for parents, this information is on our website, but both those forms, try to get them completed in October, if at all possible. And we will meet 100% of the determined need. So we understand your need this year may be different than it might have been last year, and it may be different than it is 3 years from now. But every year we evaluate that. And this year CMC we expanded our financial aid budget to better support our current and new students, given the financial challenges.
Wow, that's great. Any last word to Korean parents and students before you go?
Sure. Well, I'm so excited to and honored to be able to be a part of this. I know in the past we have, I don't know if it's every year, but I know several years we have participated in the college fair, and we've always enjoyed engaging with the families. So thank you. We're sorry we can't be there in person. I hope next summer we are. But thank you for engaging with us virtually. And I'm excited to be able to share what I know and answer hopefully as many questions as I can.
네, 어떻게 들으셨어요? 올여름 최선을 다해서 지원서를 작성한다면 기회의 문도 활짝 열리지 않을까 싶습니다. 오늘 듣고 더 궁금한 점은 7월 11일 열리는 온라인 칼리지페어에서 직접 질문할 수 있습니다. 저는 다음 이 시간에도 더 좋은 주제로 찾아오겠습니다. 감사합니다.